I'm going to record this. Okay, so we're recording. Whether somebody jumps on or not, that's fine. But I thought, it's time to step into the new. I have a little Frenchie next to me. Oh, it's okay, Millie. Let me see if I can bring her up. To step into the full and new moon offerings for people because it's really powerful. This is little Millie's part of the picture. We've gotten away from following our intuition, going with what's guiding us intuitively, which is, drawn to the energetics that we are. We are all part of the stars. Like everything you see in my background, we are mostly energy, even though we're having a physical experience. Quantum physics has proven that we're less than 5% physical, right? And I talk about this all the time. You'll never wrap your human mind around that. I don't care how intelligent you are. I don't care how high your IQ is. You cannot grasp the totality of that until you're back in spirit. You might have a good understanding of it, but we're not fully there. And the reality is, when we used to go by the cycles of the moon and follow the 28-day cycles, things are more in flow. If you look at biodynamic farmers, they work with the cycles of the moon. They won't plant when there's a fire moon, right? Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius is too arid. You want to have the opportune time. So it's really important. And tomorrow is the Virgo full moon. Okay. Now we all have the moon somewhere in our chart. Some of you watching this either live on Facebook or the recording possibly may have the moon in Virgo, right? That's great. But wherever your moon is how you emotionally nurture yourself, how you like to be nurtured, how you handle stress when it comes up. We have fire, earth, air, and water, and they all operate differently. Like I'm a fire moon. I have an Aries moon, and that's the warrior. That's like wherever your moon placement is too, is your PhD. Now, I really believe that they're parallel lives. They're not really past lives, right? It's in a different parallel of reality, but most of the people in the spiritual community will say, oh, this past life, I resonate with that. Yes, because you can still access that energy. It's just parallel. But wherever your moon is placed, it's like you've had lifetimes as that. I've had lifetimes as a warrior. That's my natal moon, but that's my energy, right? My father was so funny. Would have been his 92nd birthday yesterday. And he always said, Dina, you don't suffer any fools. Like you take no prisoners. That's the energy of the Aries moon, right? But with that is a shadow side. Getting annoyed really easily, having zero patience, blowing up like a volcano, because Aries is the first fire sign. It's when spirit comes into matter for the first time, right? And it's initiation. So that's just where my moon is. But everybody has their moon somewhere. And that's something that we could look into further if that interests you, because I do natal chart readings. And I help you to see like what your theme for this lifetime is, because we all have a potential. If we took a snapshot of these heavens right now, as they are in this picture at the time a baby was born or your birth, you can see where the constellations were in the sky. And the rising sign coming up over the eastern horizon at the time of your birth is the theme of your entire natal chart, right? The planet that rules that. For instance, mine is Pluto. I have Scorpio ascendant at 1 degree. Very Plutonian lifetime. I like to look really deeply at things. I want to get to the nuts and bolts of it, not superficial. But this Virgo moon is happening tomorrow. And the reason I didn't do this tomorrow is because I'm going to have my 3-year-old grandson. And there is no way I just had a dog climb on me. She's a puppy too. She's a baby. She's younger than him. She's only a few months old. So I wouldn't have the wherewithal to sit and be present. The Virgo moon is ruled by the planet Mercury. Mercury rules communication. It rules how we write, how we speak, how we connect with people. It's the thought process in our head, right? And again, wherever your Mercury is natally placed is going to speak volumes, right? How you handle that. But for Virgos, and I was married to one for 25 years, I was for 25, married for 23, very analytical. Virgo, the Vestal Virgins, right? Virgo is about purification. I'm going to pull up beautiful little meme that I found from, I think it's Inked Earth Goddess. Let's see. Give some credit yet. At Inked Goddess Creations, right? That right there explains the Virgo moon, right? But the Virgo is all about purification. It rules daily routines. It rules the 6th house. It's health and healing, cleanses, the Vestal Virgins, purification, but very analytical, right? So this Virgo moon, this is what they're saying, express your independence, because we have the North Node in Aries. I don't want to get really into the astrology. It's more about the moon, but we do have the North Node of destiny and Chiron, which is our wounds in Aries. And that's a massive connection. So again, that's more in depth than this is, but this Virgo moon, it's a full moon. So it's culmination, right? It's endings. It's what needs to be completed. What needs to be completed in your life? What's happened since the last full moon to this full moon? Because the moon, when it's full, it's opposite the sun in the sky, right? And I'll tell you, when I went in 2019 to the Mexican pyramids in the Yucatan, where my grandmother was born, we got on the equinox, we were led in with one other group right as the sun was rising. And they're equal in the sky. And we could see Chichen Itza, the temple was in the middle. And here was the sun rising in the east. And over in the west, the moon was setting, and they were exactly in line. It was such a magical moment. So it's the endings of things. It's the culmination. But Virgo, this moon, you know, it's really good time to maybe stop the habits of eating and drinking that are not assisting you. Start exercising, right? We'll have a new moon in 2 weeks, but Virgo is all about, like, for me, it's about, yeah, I'm back to California. I'm out of the madness of Orlando, me driving rideshare for 5 months on the worst highway in the country. Just my eating habits were not great. I'd stop and get a coffee and a cookie. I mean, that's not great. So for me, and plus I'm back in the pure energies of Mount Shasta to really ground in. I'm sipping an herbal tea right now, getting into that. So Virgos are analytical. They're really good at detail. My ex-husband would get things done like nobody's business. Really great for that. Precision on the shadow side, and every sign has their positive and their negative, pros and their cons, their light and their shadow. The shadow side of Virgo is highly critical of others, but it's usually a projection of how they feel about themselves internally. It's not really have anything to do with the other person. And that's how life rolls too. You know, we project our inner and put that on other people. Highly critical, too analytical, too much in the head, can think way too much instead of dropping into the body, because it is an earth sign, so you want to be in the body more. It's just a powerful time. So tomorrow that moon will be full at 4:31 a.m. on the West Coast, 7:31 a.m. on the East Coast, and so on and so on. You can, you know, check out your time to see what time it's full. But, you know, full moons are really great. Like if there's things I want to finish up, what I like to do is go in and writing out what it is I want to release, you know, and then burning it. I do that all the time. And for me, flushing into water, because I have a Scorpio ascendant, and water is, you know, part of the Scorpionic energy and Pluto. It's a really deep water sign. That works for me. So whatever works for you. I also would love to do now, just for a few minutes, just to have you close your eyes. And I would love to guide you in a little meditation. Beautiful music playing in the background. This is the channel Calm, C-A-L-M, Whale. If anybody's interested, this is new growth, snow, full moon, and Virgo meditation. Just some really beautiful music in the background. But center your, sorry for the noise in the back. These dogs were quiet for the past 2 hours, and it's, you know, just like kids. As soon as you go to do something, Mom, they're screaming at you, chewing some kind of cheese bone or something. But let's drop in. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose. Hold it for a moment. Feel into that preciousness of the lungs that gives you life, the air. And then as you breathe out, release anything that you've been holding for the past month that's not serving you. Breathe in again, breathing in all that you'd love to bring in with the new energies as this moon turns full tomorrow morning. Everything Virgoan. And breathe out all that doesn't serve you. And so for me, I'm breathing out, like, you know, the poor eating habits, but really aligning in my body, exercise, manifestation of clean eating, pure water, walking in nature, grounding. Just take a few moments just to breathe, let the rhythm of your breath settle in, naturally how it feels good to you, and give thanks and gratitude for your body. Virgo is the second earth sign, right? And it's when the first 6 signs, it's the culmination of the first 6 signs, when we're really into the self, coming into alignment with the body, with emotions, with feelings, with stamina. starts to really step into the mind now. There's an intellect with Mercury ruling that. So what is it that you've been working on this past month, that you've been analyzing, that you've been wanting to implement, but maybe you haven't had the staying power to do it? Maybe you felt too all over the place. Maybe there's been too much going on. Like you have your irons in like 15 fires and it's not serving you. What are the really necessary things in your life now that you could really focus on and see as done? If it's something that you really wanted to implement in your life, see it as already being manifest. You know, the mind is a really powerful thing, and Mercury is incredibly gifted for aligning like the higher self into the physical mind, right? So ask your higher self, your guides, to help you to slow down a little bit, to get into the body, you know, and just to anchor whatever that is. Yeah, this little puppy, anchor whatever that is for you, to bring it in so that it makes sense, so that you can do it like in a very Virgoan way, step by step. Write it out. You know, if there's things you wanted to do, just focus on that one thing. And how can you implement it? And be open to guidance coming in. If you've been having trouble trying to figure out, I don't know how this is going to happen, you know what? Here's the thing. It's not our job to know how things are going to happen. We have to trust. Just breathe into that. Visualize whatever that is being done already. See yourself moving through that. You know, act as if. Listen, this is how creation works. You are infinite potential because you are part of source energy, individualized in your human form. But the fullest essence of you remains in spirit. You never leave spirit. You know, people say when you die, oh, you're back in spirit. No, you've never left. You're still there. A fraction of you is here. So tapping that fraction, that human self, into the higher potential is really powerful. So act as if. Why do you think children are so magical? Because they haven't lost it yet. They don't even realize that they're in the human world. The imaginary playmates, the tea parties, making food for people that we can't even see. They're seeing them. They've never lost that magic. Breathe in and just allow yourself to pull in the smells, the colors, the textures. What does that feel like? What does it look like? Who's there with you? You know, when I feel things like that, and I'm driving in my car and I feel this new car that I want. I mean, I love my car, but when I'm visualizing this beautiful vehicle that I would love to have, I feel like from my heart center and deep gratitude. And I pretend like I'm already driving it. I can feel the energy going out. I mean, that's how powerful you are. Breathe it in and allow yourself to know that you are worthy and deserving of everything that's on your heart. This world has told you that there's not enough to go around for everybody. It's absolutely not true. We're part of an infinite source of creation. There can be no lack, only the lack we put in our minds. A few more slow, deep breaths. Enjoy where you're at with your visualization. And if it's hard for you to visualize, listen, the more you do this, the easier it gets. I can put some resources in the chat for you to start to do these little meditations if you're not a meditator. They will get easier with time. Feel the chair under your butt, your feet on the ground. Give thanks for your existence. Give thanks for even the things that show up that you don't prefer, because they help you to realize what you do prefer, and then focus only on the preference. Don't give any credence to what's showing up. That's not what you're wanting, because focusing on that will just bring more of that. That's how it works, folks. It is no other way. Coming back from that beautiful visualization that you just had. that life, that thing, that job, that relationship, whatever it is, the purification of your body in the best version of yourself. We're going to come back into the room, come back into your body, however it is, and give thanks for that you have the breath that keeps you active. Even thanks for this dog that's over here making all sorts of noise. My goodness, that is so crazy. Let me see if I can find the chat here. I want to just type in some resources. Let's type in some resources. Dr. Joe Dispenza. Or YouTube. He's got great videos. Hicks. Oh Lord, there's so many. There are so many that you could tap into. But yeah, the full moon, it's a powerful time. Really powerful. Every moon is powerful. I love tapping into this. This is the essence of who I really am, right? I've been into these things since I was a kid. I've known that I was more than this. As a 3-year-old, I looked in the mirror at my parents' house. We had these 12 by 12 glass pieces of mirror that my mother had chunked together, and it was like one big mirror. And I remember staring at myself like this. And I heard this voice, this thought in my head. It's like, I know you're Dina. Who are you really? And I was 3, but I knew that there was some other part of me that was speaking, that was ancient, right? That what I was looking at in the mirror, the physical reflection of myself, was just like a speck, that I was more than that. And you know, honestly, everything that comes into your life is from your state of being. It's not the circumstances, it's your frequency, right? It's your frequency. What I want to do too is just, what I want to do is just run the Healy briefly. I wanted to do this, but no one's jumped on the Zoom, and that's fine because I did this so impromptu. But what I will do, let's see. I'm going to take a picture of this full moon over here. And we're going to run the frequencies for the full moon in Virgo. So I will take a picture of this. I'm going to put it in the Healy because this is the full moon in Virgo. We're going to create a client. All right. So here's the Healy. Let's see, look, it just disappeared. It's able to scan and pick up on frequencies that are necessary to bring more balance to the energy that we're in. So right now, let's see. We're going to put it as other. What I will do is type in full moon in Virgo, Virgo full moon, Virgo full moon. All right, we're going to create a client. I'm going to hold the Healy in my right hand. It doesn't really matter. I can hold it upside down and backwards. It wouldn't really matter. But I'm clicking on this and I'm going to start scanning. I made it a client. This is going to pick up the energy of the full moon so that I can send it out, and anybody watching the recording, you can benefit from this. Here we are. Frequencies. Date of creation today. 2/23/24. That's it. Okay. Place of fruits. Let's see. Just give me a moment. Okay. There we go. We're going to go into the chakras. Let's see what resonates for the full moon in Virgo. It's beautiful. Sacral chakra, that's the second chakra that has to do with survival. It is the sexual organs. It's groundedness. It deals with the bladder. Sacral chakra, solar plexus, heart, throat, and third eye. So I'm just going to vibrate that for about 2 minutes and let that do its magic. So now it's clearing that. It's, can't really see it. Everything's disappearing. We're like in another realm. I love that. So the new moon will be in 2 weeks. We're almost, where are we? February? No, we're in Pisces for a bit. We're in Pisces until, yeah, towards the end of March, 3rd week of March, around the 20th, when we go into Aries, the equinox coming up, spring equinox. So yeah, we're just into the beginning of Pisces. I've been traveling, you have to excuse me, but we'll do new moon. And new moon's a great time. It's new beginnings. On this full moon, all things Virgo. Remember Mercury, health and healing, daily routines, purging, cleansing. Be cleansing of the mind too. It doesn't have to be physical, but it is an earth sign. So it's a really good time to do a cleanse, to get into organizing your foods and the things that you would like to eat and the things you would like to do to bring more pristine energy into your body. I do frequency sessions with the Healy, where we get your photo, your birth information, the city you were born, and we scan you. It can scan, it's a biofeedback machine, so it'll scan your energetics, and we can read for imbalances. I have over 300 programs within this Healy, and we're able to see what you're needing some assistance with. You don't have to be with me. This is remote. This is the quantum technology. It's incredibly effective. I did a session for a dear friend at the time who was on the other side of the planet. I was in Mount Shasta, California, and I didn't realize it, but she had something going on with her hand and her palm. It was bothering. We spoke after I did the session. Usually when I do a session, I say to the person, like, just relax. I'll do it. I don't have you on the phone. I tell you the time I'm doing it. I ask you to go lie down, put on nice music like I have here, be somewhere where you can be undisturbed and just feel into it. If you fall asleep, great, go with it. But we'll check in like the day after. She phoned me like 40 minutes later. She couldn't even wait. And not only she was about 9,000 to 10,000 miles away from me. And she said she had a dream the night before, because at that point I had scanned her the night before. So she read some of the scans and she said, I just dreamt about all this jewelry being, placed into my left hand. And I said, well, that's the feminine side of the body, which is the moon is feminine, is the left side of the body. So you're receiving with your left hand. She said, yeah, but the thing is, I didn't tell you. I had this weird pain in my left palm for the past few weeks, and now it's completely gone. Since she did that session, like, what is that thing? And I'm like, that's the Healy. That's the power of it. Because in quantum entanglement, if you understand that at all, and you don't even have to be a physicist. I mean, there's quantum frequencies for beginners, right? You can find the videos on YouTube. Everything is part of the one. That's why when I said there's no past lives, because every moment is now. If you think about it, tomorrow never comes, because if it does show up, it's today. There is no past. Everything is in parallel dimensions, right? Let's get a little out there. I mean, they know of at least 12 dimensions in quantum physics that over they're like pancakes. So in that is what we would call past lives. But she was able to feel the frequencies, because she's part of the one. Like, there's no, we appear as different human beings, still part of the one. And this technology has the ability, very powerful, for all manner of working in the physical body. But here's the thing, everything's energetic first, right? So anything that you have from a head cold down to cancer is energetic imbalance first and foremost. That's always how it is. Even as a child, before I knew about any of this consciously, I always thought there's no way, if your outer bodies were intact, and I knew that we had outer bodies, it just was a knowing that I have. That's the Scorpio, right? That's me in my natal chart. Scorpio, Neptune, the dreams in Scorpio, opposite Mercury. I just know what I know. I just know. It's just knowing. My best friend in Florida is a medium, world class, been a medium since she was 5 years old, has the gift that runs down the maternal lineage in the Irish side of her family. And she's like, you just know. So I'm really plugged in to source. When you see me post videos that there's a sign for my parents, whatever, yeah, I get them all the time. So I can help you with that. That's what my Journey Back to Self is, my 6-week course. Helps you to tap into all that. But these frequency sessions are incredibly powerful. So if everything was balanced, you wouldn't even get a normal head cold. You just wouldn't. So we have to really start to look at other ways of treating the physical body. The physical body is just a minor reflection of the cosmos that you're seeing in this screen, right? Same thing with the nanotechnology that I work with. It's a way to treat the body on a physical level, but getting directly into the cells, 100% intact in 70 seconds. That's a breakthrough. That has never been done on this planet. Have we had nanotechnology for a bit? Yes, we have. But nobody's ever had it 100% ever. This is the beauty, and this is why that company is exploding around the planet, because hundreds of thousands of people around the world in 65 countries so far are getting well. So for all of you watching this that are still suffering from things, I will ask you why. Because when my mother went to hand Joe and I something to help us, now, years later, my mother would run to every doctor down the pike if she got a head cold, right? She was on medications, but before that, she was on thyroid medication. She was healthy. She was younger, so she wasn't taking medications. Her mother, my grandmother from the Yucatan, where Chichen Itza sits, and Uxmal, and all those temples, that's part of my bloodline, the Maya, was super holistic. And so my mother would try to give us something, and my brother and I were like, we don't want it. And she'd be like, she'd look right at me and she'd go, then suffer. And I hate to say it, but if you're still doing the same thing, and we have a Virgo full moon coming on health and healing, and you're not getting results, what, honestly, tell me, and put it in the comments, please, on the Facebook Live or somewhere. What do you think is going to change? I mean, are you that batshit crazy? I'm sorry, but like, what do you think is going to change? No thing, nothing. I love spelling. I love it. Nope. That's just how it is. And these technologies they're not invasive, right? They are natural therapies. I mean, you are frequency. So like things like the Healy, there's other devices. It's not the only one. I think it's the only one that I know of that works in real time, meaning you get customized frequencies every time it scans you, as opposed to if you got one for bones, let's say you scan yourself for bones because you broke your bone or it's healing or something. If it's not customized, everybody that uses that bone treatment gets the same frequencies. But a 300-pound man is a lot different than a 55-pound child who broke their arm, God forbid. You're not the same. So that technology doesn't make sense to me. Healy makes sense because of the customability. But all of it, this is what's here. This is part of the Aquarian age. We're in the beginning of that. This Virgo full moon is that, right? And tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern, I put it up on my Facebook page. Look, Dr. Lana Contos. She was trained at Harvard, I think at Yale. She's incredibly knowledgeable. She's a naturopath. She's going to be speaking on the power of the glutathione that we work with. It's incredibly effective. Harvard, Stanford, Mayo Clinic physicians, as well as like 14 other physicians on that medical advisory board for NUMI that are all unpaid. Did you hear me? Unpaid volunteers. They don't get paid a penny to endorse these products. Do you know why they use them? Because they've been waiting for somebody to get glutathione 100% intact. Those 3 peptides that split apart when you get an IV or an injection. Can I tell you? Did you know that those 3 peptides split apart with those delivery systems, and they try to come back together? It takes over half an hour. It spends tons of energy in the body. They don't fully get into the cells because the molecules are too big. So if you're paying for IV or injections, you're getting about 20% of what you're paying for. That's straight up scientific fact. That's not me promoting this company. That's a scientific fact. So if you want more information, you know, you can reach out to me. I always have it. I'm passionate because I'm watching people get well. And the Virgo full moon is a great time to implement that. So if you've been curious about any of that, or you're curious about the moons, I'm happy to help you, right? It is really hard for me to watch people continue to suffer that don't need to, that could, you know, if they don't completely shift their health, they could be better. I'm watching all of that in front of my eyes on testimonial calls with people that have had so many different issues that are either completely off their medications or at least being able to cut them down. My own mother, years ago, I brought her to Mount Shasta because this is all Virgo, right? This is the Virgo full moon, health and healing, purification. She had been on Synthroid then for over 30 years. She had her thyroid removed when I was a little girl, and my mother had a hot temper, and my father said before she had that thyroid removed, she had the patience of a saint. After that, she didn't. She would snap. I thought it was her Latin upbringing, but no, my father said it was the thyroid. Now we have ways of treating the body. You don't have to cut out body parts all the time. You know, this running to, oh, you don't really need your gallbladder. Really? Why'd the creator put it there? I mean, stop and think about it for a minute. If you could treat something naturally without having to take it out of your body with a knife, why would you not do it? So I said to my mom, if you could cut your medication by using something natural or completely be rid of it, would you do it? She's like, yeah, of course. So we went and we sat with Joy Taylor. Joy, I love you. Absolutely. She has been working with the Amazon herb company for years. They've merged. They're now Trivita. We got my mom on some herbs from the Amazon where, by the way, if you don't know this, the synthetic medications that people take, they come from the plants in the Amazon, but then they're synthesized. So yes, the body can recognize, okay, this is good for my heart. But the rest of the chemical compounds in the cells don't know what the hell to do with it. Here come your side effects. I challenge you to watch any commercial. I don't watch normal TV, but if you watch a commercial, how many side effects do they throw up for all the medications? And why do they speak them so quickly? So that you don't really hear what they're saying. They break the body down. So anyway, my mom got on, she was on the Shipibo Treasure Tea. She was on a few other formulas, and she was able to cut her synthroid in half after 30 years, like a 4-month time period, by going to her doctor and getting her panels checked. Amazing. Like, that's just the beauty of all this. So if that resonates with you, let me know. Again, I do frequency sessions with the Healy. You can connect in with me for more information on that. I also do natal chart readings, and we can work with the Healy. And then I have Journey Back to Self, my 6-week course of self-mastery for women who are awakening to the truth that they are far more than these physical bodies, and they're here for a bigger purpose, right? Think about whatever lights you up, that's your purpose work here. We can find a way to monetize it to help other people light them up. That's what we need on this planet. We need people lit up and awake so that we can stop with all the nonsense, right? And that Journey Back to Self is a 6-week course. It's absolutely beautiful. There are 6 pre-recorded modules that I'll send you. We have 4 one-on-ones. I send you frequencies every day of those 6 weeks with the Healy. And, you know, those sessions, they're not horribly expensive, but that adds up. So the value that I give for this is a lot more than what you're paying for. I make it very affordable. So reach out to me if that speaks to you. I thank you for those of you watching this, and I will be back in 2 weeks to have a beautiful day. Thank you.